College football rundown, Football Friday, CBS Sports coming up in moments. We'll tell you all about the new head coach at the University of Minnesota.
I guarantee when you find out who I picked to win the national championship, you'll be surprised.
Based on that, I'm guessing that you're going to take Clemson. College football rundown starts right now. Some spoiler, DJ. What's up, buddy?
You know what? That reminds me about when my daughter comes up to me holding something and says, "Close your eyes." Then I close them and she says, "Look what I got." That's what I just felt like right now.
There's literally, you're going to be surprised when you find out who I picked in the national championship. I wonder if DJ's picking the #1 team in the country then. Would that be surprising? No, therefore he's picking the other team.
Close your eyes.
Likes Clemson. Close my eyes, open them up. DJ likes Clemson. DJ's pick officially coming up later in the program. It is College Football Rundown, Football Friday, CBS Sports, Nick Costos and DJ Williams. DJ, we begin with latest news. The University of Minnesota has hired a new head coach, and it's P.J. Fleck. Fleck, of course, coming off that 13-1 season, magical at Western Michigan. This seems to be a great hire for the Golden Gophers.
Yeah, this is a great hire. You got a young coach with a great mind. Did a great job of building this Western Michigan program up. When he first got there, they were 1-11. They end up 13-1. So now you wonder, can he do that same thing at Minnesota? Can they compete with those other schools in the Big Ten? It's not like he has to go ahead and clean up shop. Minnesota was a pretty good team last year. They went 9-4. I think if they give him the right time and they give him the right pieces, he'll be able to turn this program around. They'll be able to compete.
Now, in 2016, you can make the argument the Big Ten, the best conference in college football. Now, we know it's a little top-heavy when you look at Ohio State, Michigan. You could even throw Penn State into the equation as well, and Wisconsin. Do you think that he can get Minnesota, given the limitations with recruiting, up to that upper echelon, or do you think he'll have to settle for being in that second tier?
I think it's going to be actually pretty tough for him. You know, he'll probably have to settle in that second tier because when you talk about schools like Penn State and Michigan and Ohio State like that, and you look at the coaches that they have great big personalities. I don't know if his personality is big enough to attract these young-minded kids.
All right, well, controversial Oklahoma running back Joe Mixon, DJ, has informed the Sooners of his intent to enter the NFL draft. Mixon, of course, suspended for the entire 2014 season for assaulting a woman at a deli in Norman. The video of that incident released last month. It is horrifying, to say the least. Mixon's going to have some explaining to do to NFL teams.
Yeah, he'll definitely have some explaining to do, but, you know, he really didn't have an option. You know, after Stoops came out and said if he had a chance to do it all over again, you know, he would have been going indefinitely. His only options were to either enter the draft or to transfer. I think this is a good move for him to go ahead and get into the draft. You know, this is a very sensitive situation, but I still believe that he's talented enough that there will be a team that will take a chance on him, especially since over the last year he's kept his nose pretty clean. We're going to drop down a lot in a draft, but somebody's still going to go ahead and give this kid another shot.
And I think I've always said if Ray Rice could still play, Ray Rice would have a job on an NFL team. The reason why Ray Rice isn't playing now, it isn't because of the video. It's because Ray Rice can't play on the field anymore. There will be a spot for Joe Mixon on an NFL roster. Now, you were a first-round pick when you came out of the University of Miami, so you've been through the whole experience. What sort of questions and interrogations is Joe Mixon going to be facing, specifically starting at the Combine?
Well, the questions that they ask you are questions that you may not even remember the answers to. I remember when I went in during my interview, and Herm Edwards brought up a fight that I got in junior high and asked me all about it and wanted to know the details. And I was surprised that he knew this because I had forgot. That was a fight 11 years ago. I didn't remember it. So I went ahead and told him the details. I was 100% honest. That's what the #1 thing. When you go in there, be 100% honest with these coaches, because a lot of times they already have the information. They just want to see if you're a stand-up guy and go ahead and give them the right answer.
Now, a pair of stud SEC defensive backs, they have been honest with their intent to enter the 2017 NFL draft. Just days after Battery made Quincy Wilson, he declared Florida Gators cornerback Jalen Tees-Tabor. He has declared, as has LSU safety Jamal Adams.
Yeah, and as you look at it, you got 3 of the best corners, you know, in the conference all declaring. And when you look at Tees-Tabor, you know, to me, he's probably one of the better out of the 3. He's had some off-field issues that he may have to also explain in the draft as well, but he has great size, 6 foot, 200 pounds, great athletic ability, great ball skills. This is a great move for this young man.
All right, let's stick at the University of Florida now. One of your former coaches at the U, DJ, is Randy Shannon. He was named the new defensive coordinator at UF. You like this move for Jim McElwain and the Gators?
I do. I do like this move. And when he was our coordinator at Miami, the thing that was great about him is he played the game. He played at the University of Miami. He played for the Dolphins. So he understands the climate, the culture between players and coach and in this area. He's going to do a great job at letting players do what they need to do to be successful.
DJ, the saga of the #1 recruit in the nation, that's running back Najee Harris, it could be nearing an end. Now, reportedly, Alabama has finally fended off Michigan. We know it's been a tug of war between those two schools for the services of Mr. Harris. It does look like he'll be a member of the Crimson Tide.
You know what? I don't know. I'm going to give you a little bit of inside information. Last year, there was a tight end at a De La Salle high school, my high school, Devin Asiasi, who actually was thinking about going to Alabama. Alabama has a coach, Tosh Lupoy, who I also went to high school with, who also went to De La Salle, and he was battling for this kid. He ended up losing this battle to Michigan. I feel like the same thing is going on right here, but I think this time Alabama will be able to hold down the fort.
DJ, national championship game coming up on Monday night. The rematch, #1 Alabama and #2 Clemson. Let's cover it from the Vegas perspective, and we do that with our Vegas insider, the great Todd Furman. Now, Todd, before we get your official pick for this game against the spread, let's hit one of my favorite prop bets. Who's going to score the first touchdown?
This always feels like a little bit of a crapshoot, roulette. Use whatever Vegas analogy you'd like here. And despite Alabama actually spotting each of their last 4 opponents the first score, Nick, I'm going to take a tandem of Crimson Tide players here. I know obviously both of them can't get into the end zone simultaneously, but let's go with Jalen Hurts priced at 6-1. I think his legs are going to play a key role in Alabama's offensive game plan. And the man who didn't do much last regular season but emerged on the big stage, O.J. Howard, their tight end, I think he's going to become a valuable red zone threat and potential playmaker down the field for Hurts to take advantage of. So those guys, with the numbers being offered, would be my A and B picks.
All right, DJ, if I want to make a couple shekels on this Monday night, who's going to score the first touchdown?
I'm going to agree with Todd. I'm going to go with a tight end, but it's not going to be O.J. Howard. I'm going to go with Jordan Leggett, the big-body guy from Clemson. And I'm also going to tell you how they're going to do it.
Tell me.
They're going to get in the red zone.
Okay.
They're either going to motion him out, get him one-on-one with a linebacker or a safety, which is a mismatch when a guy is 6'5", 260 pounds, or they're going to line up in a double-tight formation. They're going to run a high screen, use Alabama's speed against him, hit him in the back of the corner of the end zone.
That was a good story, DJ, but unfortunately, it's inaccurate.
My stories are great.
Now, your stories are great. That is true. Now, it is going to be, we'll save that for another time. I'm going to take another Clemson pass catcher. I'm going to take wide receiver Mike Williams. Didn't have him last year in the national championship game. He is such a stud. I actually think he's going to be the difference in the entire game. Mike Williams gets the first touchdown. Clemson will jump out to an early 7-0 lead. All right, Todd, now your pick against the spread for the national championship game. The Crimson Tide, a 6.5-point favorite. The over-under is 51.
That Clemson bandwagon awfully full, young Nicholas. Thankfully for me, I won't need a seat on that bandwagon because I'm going to back Alabama for the second straight year. I know last year I laid 6. They let me down with that late backdoor cover against the Tigers. But this is all about the number for me. Had these two teams met in the semifinals, we'd be talking about Alabama, a 9.5, 10-point favorite. But the disparate results we saw in the semifinals, Clemson boat racing Ohio State to the tune of 31-0, winning and covering easily as a 1.5, 2-point underdog, and Alabama struggling, although what's lost in that narrative, they covered 12.5, winning that game 24-7. I think Alabama can put all the distractions of Steve Sarkisian and Lane Kiffin aside. Defensively, they'll get pressure with their front four. The difference, though, will be Alabama's offensive line against Clemson's defensive line. This is a Tigers defense that's been susceptible to opposing ground attacks and balanced offenses. Alabama wins this game by double digits. Give me the Crimson Tide at a value price of only 6.5.
All right, DJ, so Todd likes Alabama. We already know you like Clemson. From
wait. A man has a chance to change his mind.
Oh, okay. Well, have you changed your mind in the last 8 minutes or so?
No.
No, you
I'm
haven't.
going with Clemson.
I know you are.
The reason I'm going with Clemson is I believe the issues with Lane Kiffin are bigger and more of a distraction than people have led on to. And also, I think Deshaun Watson is hungrier than anybody else on that field. This is his last game playing his collegiate career. He was one play or one drive away from winning it all last year. I think the young man gets the job done.
DJ, Todd talked about it. Last year in the national championship game, Todd, I tried to tell you, buddy, you take Clemson with the points. Todd was stubborn. He wanted to lay the points with Alabama. The old backdoor cover at the end of the game, Deshaun Watson covering for Clemson. Todd, the same thing's going to happen this year, buddy. I thought that you'd be on board with me here on that bandwagon. By the way, I'm driving. I'll kick the guy sitting shotgun out. You can come and sit next to yours truly. They're not even going to need the points. Clemson's going to win this game outright. Why? Because they have the best player on the field. His name is Deshaun Watson. Storylines now that we are watching coming up in the national championship game, the rematch, Alabama and Clemson. Todd Furman, we begin with you.
I think DJ hit it, and I touched on it a little bit in my analysis. What will this Alabama offense look like? Lane Kiffin being kicked to the curb in favor of Steve Sarkisian. The folks that I've talked to close to the Alabama program said Nick Saban was absolutely irate with the performance he saw from the Crimson Tide offensively. The one thing, Steve Sarkisian doesn't operate like Lane Kiffin. He doesn't need to be the smartest guy in the room. He's going to go with what works. And had Alabama done that last week, we would have seen a lot more of Bo Scarborough. I think you're going to get a power ground game, pro-style offense set up to play action for guys like Calvin Ridley to get behind the secondary, hitting a home run here or there. And Alabama is going to put all those distractions aside. But clearly, I want to see what this offense looked like, because you're not going to forge a new identity in 9 days. I think Steve Sarkisian will be just fine in what will amount to a dress rehearsal for his full-time employment beginning next fall.
DJ, you're a defensive guy, and I know that you'll be watching out to see what sort of performance we'll see from this Bama D.
Yeah, this week a few of the top guys from Alabama defense came out and spoke and said the Alabama defense you saw last year wasn't the defense that you're going to see this year. I don't think that's the issue. The issue is Deshaun Watson. This Bama defense felt like they were out of shape or tired and didn't play hard. They weren't as hungry, thought they took them lightly. No, the problem is when you get a guy as good as Watson with his versatility that can do all the things that he can do, he puts a lot of stress on the defense. I see him doing the same thing this year, and that's why I picked him and them to win the championship.
DJ, I feel like you were copying off my paper, buddy. You look at my storyline to watch, what we're going to see happen. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. Clemson's going to win the football game. Deshaun Watson's going to lead the Tigers on a late drive, a late touchdown to secure victory. And as a result, Mr. Watson will cement his legacy as one of the greatest players in the history of the sport of college football. That does it for the Friday edition of College Football Rundown here on CBS Sports. For my guys Todd Furman and DJ Williams, I'm Nick Costos. We will see you on Monday evening for the pregame show, Alabama-Clemson in the national championship.